Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you're coming from in the world. I am RJ Horner, and I'm host and facilitator of Open Up. It is a live talk show on behalf of Voice of Men 360. And I am the vice president at Voice of Men 360. My name is RJ Horner, and I'm also the host and facilitator of a community called Live and Love Life. Now, just to share a brief intro about Voice of Men 360, International Men's Day, and why this talk open up is so important. Voice of Men 360 is a not for profit organization founded in 2020, based in Toronto, Canada. Many boys and men seeking help and support in many areas of their lives. We understand the demands and support needed when it comes to boys and men in our society. Voice of Men 360 organization was born out of seeing a tremendous need and stepping up to help provide services to help support and overcome men's and boys' life's challenges. We are part of International Men's Day. International Men's Day has been serving for over 21 years, and so far has been represented in 90 countries around the world, joining together with various activities regularly. IMD follows 6 pillars, which is the overall well-being of boys and men. We follow in the same footsteps here at Voice of Men 360. And so open up um, is so important because men and boys do not open our hearts, and we're not willing to share our matters with anyone. When it comes to challenges, emotional and otherwise, we find ourselves holding it in for too long. And at some point, it's bound to explode, and it affects our emotional conditions and our environment at large. That's why we want to create an open space and allow individuals to share their life journey through our platform. We aim to create awareness about life's challenges, struggles, overcomes life's ups and downs that our men and boys go through in their lives. There are no limitations with gender, age, nationality, or ethnic groups with sharing their life journey. All walks of life are invited to participate. Our goal is to make a positive impact on someone's life through this program. Open Up is on Sundays, usually in the mornings. Today we're on at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Each week we will bring an individual and share their life experiences with you. We have a special guest today. His name's Kareem Daniel Ryce, who's an audio engineer, a songwriter, and is Global Peace Challenge 2020 Trinidad and Tobago ambassador. Welcome, Kareem Daniel Ryce, to Open Up. Thank you for joining us on Sunday afternoon and being willing to share your life journey with us.
Sure, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you again for being willing to share your life journey. Um, you're an audio engineer, and what brought you to that journey? Let's talk. Go back to your childhood, if you would. What kind of influences did you have to bring out that in your life?
Well, I'm an only child, so at home I would have been. I learned to read at a very young age. I had cassettes, like those cassettes to put in the tape deck, and I would have been listening to cassette and playing around with the EQs and all those different types of things. Um, Looking back on it now, that would have been my first experience with audio engineering while teaching myself how to read, and that more or less influenced my life in such a way that I went on to attain a certificate um, that certifies me competent in audio engineering and music production at the LA Records Media Entertainment Limited. So that that's the experience right there.
Awesome. No, awesome. That's awesome. So did you always know you all wanted to be this for a living? Is that what you dreamed of?
Actually, no. No, it wasn't. On some experiences in my life, some negative experiences that I realize are my blessings now, um, would have found me utilizing writing poems or poetry to soothe myself and help me express myself properly. And I began like freestyling. Some person would have said it like I was going crazy or something like that and ranting. And somebody else gave me some positive feedback and I said, no, what you're saying there is making sense. You're rhyming, you're rapping there. Um, so I wanted to empower myself to be able to record myself without having to go and pay that money to persons to take control or be able to record me when I can do it myself. So I chose to empower myself to do that. Yes.
Oh, awesome. I love that you mentioned that. So, do you always empower yourself? Do you always go out and look in ways you can do it yourself, or do you seek help? How does that work out for you?
Being an only child, that's the way it is sometimes. But I've grown to understand that trying to do everything yourself will make you take longer, or have you taken longer to get things done. And I use that experience or wisdom, and I know when to ask for help. Yeah.
Awesome. No, because some people can't. So you know what? You're brave for doing so as well. But okay, so you mentioned your only child. So what was growing up like for you? You know what I mean? Being an only child or going to school. What was that like for you?
For me, from the ages of well, from preschool to primary school, standard three, from preschool to standard three, I would have been. Uh, I grew up in a broken home. From when I was in standard three, my dad left. All right, and life would have changed in a drastic way. And I so growing up would have been somewhat of a love hate um, family relation with family members and myself and my mom with me at some times, because I would have been constantly told, you're just like your father, you're just like this, and you're just like that. And family members would have been like, you're giving him all that trouble and speaking all of this negativity into my life. Um, Luckily enough, I found I would say I'm fortunate to have been able to participate in um, activities in my community, like sports. I used to play soccer or football, because in the Caribbean, football, I represented my school. I got involved in scouting when I was a young lad, and I'm 28 years of age, by the way. Um, yeah, so those type of activities kind of help mold me and make growing up as a only child in a broken home easier. Yeah.
Hmm. So usually we'll talk about the relationships. You know what? Let's do that first. Let's talk about your relationship with other men throughout your upbringing. You know what I mean? As you're growing in, becoming a young adult, teenager, what are your adventures with other boys out there?
Wow. Well, I have always had an awesome relationship with my father. Um, Even though sometimes relationship with between a father and a son kind of can be, hey, we're butting heads. But my experience in terms of the the influence of positive males in my life on my along my journey would have been in scouting, um, camps. I went on camps. Being involved in sports, so would have been like the football coaches, the how to say, um, some cousins were a positive influence in my life growing up. So, could you rephrase the question? I think I lost my way there and answering you.
Sorry, I missed that last part. Can you try it again?
Can you kindly rephrase the question? I think I may have missed.
I'm just
Uh,
looking for what your influences were like, your relationships between your fellow friends, your cousins. What was the relationship there like? And how did that influence you?
the It was fun. I'm lucky to have experienced a childhood. Things weren't that hard. It weren't that hard coming up. We were allowed to play. We had a safe community. The friendship um, I have friendships from a young boy till this day. We are still friends. We don't speak that often as we used to, but we communicate here and there if we see each other. So the experience was a positive one.
No, and that's what I want to hear. Look, it's not always about, these interviews don't always have to be, oh, I led a bad life, and you know what I mean, I'm struggling, so because of this you have to learn from. No, you know what, you led a good life because it sounds like you've had good influences in your life. Um, I myself am a member of Scouts Canada. So I understand the Boy Scout journey, you know what I mean, growing up, and you have support throughout your life there, you know what I mean? So and they also give you moral values, moral guides to follow, right?
Definitely.
So you've led a decent life, but what what influences have made you into the man, do you think anyways, have made you into the man you've become?
Wow, that um, the influence that made me choose to walk this path in my life.
Yeah,
Wow,
because you
that's
seem a
been
very level-headed boy, you know what I mean, young man anyways. What
mhm.
made you in that path? Because you could have chose other paths, right?
Definitely I could have. It would have been an experience that was not ready for. I became a father at a very young age. I became a dad at 19 years. I was still attending high school when I became a dad. Um, my daughter, she's 9 years. She turned 9 last year. Um, my son, he turned 7 last year. So I would have had to develop a different mentality in terms of trying to make things happen. So I did not finish high school. I would have been attending Form 6. I had to drop out of that eventually because I had to go and work to find funds to handle my responsibility, which resulted in me being not emotionally ready for that level of responsibility and stress, not to mention the um, feedback from persons in my life who would have been choosing to come with me only with the problems, some with solutions, but solutions in a manner that seemed as though I was being spoken down to at the time, which resulted in me uh, having a serious stress and anxiety problem. Um, so I would have been trying to use marijuana to self-medicating myself in order to cope with the pressures I was dealing with at the time. Now, I did not know because the conversation was not had. It's a taboo topic. Mental health is a taboo topic. Anywhere in the world, there's a gigantic stigma attached to it.
Mhm.
They stay away from this type of topics. Now, I would have heard that there are persons who have histories of mental illness in my family. But we making fun of that growing up. Nobody's normalizing the conversation. So at the age of 21, I, Kareem Daniel Rice, would have found myself at the New Life Ministries Drug Rehabilitation Center in order to become rehabilitated uh, from my um, abuse of marijuana. Now, coming from a family with a history of mental health challenges, I would have been the person in my generation to suffer with a mental disorder or a mental condition. So I am a schizophrenic person. I would have been diagnosed in a mental health institution halfway through my drug rehabilitation at the New Life Ministries Drug Rehabilitation Center. Coming out from that experience and learning and mingling and hearing the stories of other persons, from me not being able to formulate a proper sentence when I was going through that, from me being fed when I was not able to feed myself because I had serious nerve damage, from me coming back into the real world after being um, released, or what's the word? um, let's say, released from the mental health institution and feeling suicidal, extremely light, as if I could just walk off the second story of the building and just remove myself from being told by medical professionals that I will have had to be on medication for the rest of my life because I have a mental illness or a mental disorder. From letting the universe or God or whoever take control of my life and point me in direction and trying to reintegrate myself into society after being in a rehabilitation center and a mental health hospital to come back and mingle with persons in the area who would have been saying that I went off the deep end and I gone mad from going through all of that to finding a job at the supermarket and being approached by a former teacher at my secondary school who asked me if I see myself working here for the rest of my life, don't you have some O level passes? Come and see me. From me taking that opportunity to go and see him and landing a job on the job training, the OGT training program, and being able to work at the same secondary school that I would have attended. From working in that secondary school as a textbook rental assistant, not being trained, sitting down in a moldy room full of dust, hole in the ceiling, discovering who I am in that room, that heated room, by reading. One of my favorite books would be Looking Out for Number One by Robert Ringer. By reading. From there, realizing that hey, I have a talent, let me go out and express myself. Seeking opportunities, open mics to go and perform. Finally, realizing that me being in this wrong, then this school is not the place for me working. Because I look around in that school and I see that there's a huge problem. The books are outdated. The entire curriculum, there's nothing about mental health and things that really matter, no life skills. As a matter of fact, the life skills in the schools are taken out. The ones that mean anything, the ones that persons would wish they had now to live in the world that we're living in during this global pandemic. I started realizing all these different things because I'm wired differently. I'm wired differently from most persons. Moving on to finding mentors, being exposed, being able to have conversations with some of the greatest minds, lecturers, academia, alumni. Um, Me, a school dropout, not understanding everything that they say, but still willing to learn and take the advice, even self-understand the advice. Now, when I'm mature and grow into it, it will come back to me because it was internalized in my mind. Seeking the opportunities, meeting negative persons who would have impacted me in a traumatic way, being used, victimized, labeled, spoken negatively about behind my back by loved ones, persons who's supposed to care about you the most, have the most power to hurt you. Family members not even willing to understand who you are by simply reading their actions, even though they may come with positive words to uplift, their actions prove otherwise. I see this, I live this. Everything is not all together with me in my life. I'm on the journey to making it all together because I made a conscious decision to take the wheel of my life to make myself a better man. So when my son and my daughter look to me, they will see me doing something positive, being
Wow.
spoken, being spoken ill of by persons I may have been in relationships with, being labeled as somebody incoherent because I am against being control and I have my own way of doing things because every man is a king in his own right, right? And everybody deserves freedom. That's the type
Absolutely.
of person I am. I
Absolutely. No, you've definitely discovered yourself. You've discovered your why, your reason for doing it. Thank you for waking up with now other people when they have kids and at a young age like that, they can go, oh my God, what a curse. Now I gotta survive. I gotta pay for these, for the groceries, for the food. I gotta feed them. Now you don't think about, oh my God, I gotta go to school. I gotta go this. You know what I mean? It can be troublesome at that age, but you seem like you stepped into it, you stepped up and moved on to a better life, right? Consciously.
consciously, I'm at the stage of trying to manifest my realities right now. I know I have it within me. I have a support system now, and I'm very grateful for that. You know,
Now, so it's okay. So support systems you mentioned. Now you come from a broken home, you mentioned, but you say you still have a good relationship with your father, right? That still exists today, or how's that going on?
it does. It's not perfect all the time because I struggle with persons trying to understand me. But I know my father at the back of my hand. My upbringing would have been different. I would have had toys like any other child. But my father is a carpenter, you see. So I would have also been playing with hammers. So I would have been growing up doing woodworking. So I'm a creative person by nature, right?
Hmm.
It was already within me. My entire family works with their hands, more or less. Um, so my struggle would be trying to uh, bridge that generational gap in terms of communicating with my dad. But I'm always open and ready to try and speak to him. There are the days when I just don't want to see anyone, and he would be the last person I want to talk to. But I try. I do try.
No, wonderful. No, wonderful. Absolutely. Those relationships are important to us.
Hmm.
So, thank you for that. Now, you say you had other influences and other people supporting you. How about support that you provided to others? Is there a way that you were giving back and supporting others in their journey?
Actually, yes. At a time, at the time, whilst I was working at the Capuchama East Secondary School, not even with the influence or the contacts I have now, I would have invited some persons at the school, some dance group, some professionals. Um, I would have introduced students at the school to some mentors uh, because I would be one of the there's an association in Trinidad and Tobago called the Jim Greaves Intergenerational Achievement Association. So I would have been attending meetings there, and that's about mentorship and apprenticeship. And currently, they are building their website so they can be more visible to the world. Um, so I have mentored some youths. I have showed my face around the football team at the school I would have attended whilst I was working there. Uh, Many of the youths who I would have came into contact with at the school still message me or reach out to me and we speak because I'm always open, right? And I understand the importance of having an alma mater, even though in schools like mine would have been considered grassroots schools and they would not have been privy to a lot of the opportunities like the more prestigious schools or the colleges in the island of Trinidad and Tobago. I would still use my influence or the contacts I have to open an opportunity for those youths because I know how it is in this real world. Nobody truly cares. And more so, especially since me becoming a global peace ambassador, I currently see that the same faces are being seen over and over and over again in all the forums. And none of them, or 99% of them, are from these prestigious schools, hiding the information from the grassroots schools and not sharing. So I'm like that person, I could share with you. I know you come from a background that is tough. I open that opportunity and that door for that person and connect them when I get out the way and it's their life and their journey, you know.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
how I operate.
So what are some of the challenges, even especially in Trinidad and Tobago? What are some of the challenges that our young youth are going through to become a man, to become an adult?
Currently in the world right now, I think that in the near future, if a language barriers, and when I say language barriers, I'm not necessarily talking about foreign languages. I'm talking about communication between the opposite sexes. As a matter of fact, that seems to be a major issue because we don't quite understand each other, and that within itself is causing a lot of challenges. If you look at the world statistics, I'm sure there there are a lot of rise in violence. So I think that a major challenge right now in society based on what I am seeing, whether it be via social media or keeping my ear to the ground, would be tensions, anxieties, rising mental health challenges. Persons are losing their jobs, stress, the 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 household is becoming like a chessboard wherein the king isn't moving much because he's unemployed and the ladies of the households or the queens are now the one who are capable in this time, seeing that the educational system may perhaps have been designed for their learning style, so they would have been accessing or internalizing the schoolwork more efficiently than the men who are said to be um,
Hmm.
developed slower than the female sex. So we're seeing that a lot of men are unemployed and the women are rising, and with that rising, instead of striving for equally yoked mentality in terms of feeling and making one being feeling and logic and just bringing something in a different way, we're seeing a power struggle in the sexes. It's happening here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
it's happening here.
Yeah. So, okay. So to finish off our show, man, if you can leave us with some advice, a couple of pieces that you could suggest for our men and boys growing, reaching maturity, what can they do to make life easier to help cope?
I'd say find creative ways to express yourself. If someone tells you men don't cry, don't listen to them. Because I know expressing my emotions have saved my life on several occasions. And I'd say keep your head up, make plans, follow your dreams step by step. Waking up in the morning is success, making your bed is success, brushing your teeth is success. Change your perspective on success. It's not about the long term. It's about having the picture long term, but the journey. It's
Hmm.
about the journey. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Kareem, thank you for joining us and sharing your life journey with us. When people like yourself come forward and share their life experiences on platforms, social medias like ours, it gives people hope for someone out there to change their mindset and change their life in a positive direction. That's our goal. We want to bring individuals and allow them to share their life journey and have an open conversation with our men's problems and challenges and how we can help them.
Mhm.
We have 4 live shows weekly. This is just one of them. Open Up usually takes place Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. We're on at a special time today at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, today only, but please join us Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Um, and then we have a weekly webinar that's at Saturdays from 10:30 to 11:30 Eastern Time. We have a Tamil language live talk show that's called Vili, which I'm told is meant I. That's on Wednesdays at 7:30 and Sundays at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And then we have panel discussions once a month. Please look out for that in our platform. And when you visit us at voiceofmen360.org. And of course, please look out for our podcast. We are turning these episodes into podcast for Open Up, which is in English, and for Vili, which means I, and that's in Tamil. And please, we are looking for participants of these programs to participate and share your life journey. We recently started our monthly men's group. That is the third Sunday of every month from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. and anyone can join us. So please, when you visit our community, look out for more information regarding that. Again, there's no limitations with gender, age, nationality, or ethnic groups. All walk of lives are welcome to participate in our shows and in our community. If you want to be a guest on any of our shows, or you're willing to be a part of our organization and help us directly or indirectly, please reach out to us. We'd like to work with individuals, professionals, organizations, experts, community authorities, organizations, corporations, especially government officials and businesses. Our phone number is 437-889-8329. You can email us at info@voiceofmen360.org. Of course, our website, www.voiceofmen360.org. You can find us on all social media. Again, we are voiceofmen360.org. And our Facebook group, of course, Facebook.com/groups/voiceofmen360. And then please watch, if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe to our channel for more from Voice of Men 360. We want to reach out to more people and help more. Please continue with your support. Thank you for joining me today. Again, I am RJ Horner, host for Open Up, a live talk show, and I hope we've done you justice today. Until next time, better days ahead.